Hello. Well, this is a review of the first part of the notes in chapter 3. So if you're looking at your notes, it'll be page 1 and about through the end of page 2 of your notes. Then in today's class, we'll start on the last page of notes. So if you have your book, it's on page 51, and this will start. I'll share my screen here. So as it says there, most people have a dream house in mind, but that's all they think about. It's just a home. But you have to think about all the primary considerations, your lot, the zoning, the codes, everything else that this chapter covers. So the site or the lot is just a plot of land. It's not just a plot of land. It's way bigger. It's what school district are you in? If you remember from yesterday's lecture, I talked about when you buy a house, there's 3 rules to buying a house. 1 is location, 2 is location, and 3 is location. So that site is not just out there somewhere, it's in a particular area, certain school district, certain distance away from shopping, airports, major highways, interstates, things like that. So the topography, that's the shape of the land. Remember I showed up on the board yesterday, and when you have those squiggly lines, the closer they are together, the hillier the lot is. So if you have just a few of those just kind of meandering through your property is probably flat or very, very minor incline. But if you have a lot of them, it can be a very steep hilly lot. So that was something I said that probably you will see on the web exam. So just remember what topography is and what that looks like in your book. The topographical map is found. There's a picture of one on page 59. There's one on top of page 56. So be able to understand what that topographical map is. So if you're in your book on page 52, the community is well, if their lot is flat, it's good for 2-story or a ranch. If it's hilly, it is designed pretty much, or could be designed for a split level house. So we've talked about that there. If you've got a lot of trees, you might want something with a lot of windows so you can look outside. You want to take full advantage of that site whenever you're looking at that, because the lot is pretty expensive when it comes to the purchase of your house. So you want to be part of a bigger community. And is that community planned or not planned? Do things all look the same? Are all the prices in that community about the same as your house? You don't want to be $1 million house where there's only $250,000 houses. So you don't want to be a $100,000 house where there's only $50,000 houses. You don't want to price yourself out. You won't be able to sell it. So think about that community. Here's an example of an unplanned community. Just kind of, it's fine, but it's just not one central theme. Do the residents all take pride in their homes? Are they taking care of their houses? Does it have modern churches, schools, shopping, all that near? Fire protection, that's something for your insurance purposes you have to worry about. Do you have water, sewer, gas, garbage collection? If not, you're going to have septic tanks. You're going to have well water, things like that. Is the site near where you have to work, or are you driving a long way? Is there public transportation available? And is there high turnover rate? We talked about Mason having a high turnover rate because of all the Procter & Gamble people that are in there. Then we talked about cost and restrictions. For the test, you'll have to understand the difference between cost and restrictions. They're down at the bottom of the first page of notes. So those cost and restrictions would be things like grade, if you have to grade the lot, if you have to fill in low spots or remove high spots, tree removal. If it's a fully wooded lot, you're going to have to cut out some of those trees so that you can build your house somewhere. And then drainage. You have to make sure that the house, or excuse me, the lot is draining not towards your house, but away from your house. And then down at the bottom here of that screen, it says property ownership is assigned through a deed. And in your book, it's on page 53. That's the copy there. The deed tells you all about your lot. It doesn't say you own your lot. It just tells you all about what you could possibly own. The title is when you actually own your house. So it's like a title on a car. After you own your car, you get the title. After you own the house, you paid off the house, you get the title. Before that, all you had was a deed saying you are living on this lot in this neighborhood, but the bank probably owned your title. Once you pay the bank fully off, then you get to have your title. So title searches are important because you don't want to have any liens on a property. A lien on a property is where somebody didn't get paid for something and they put a lien on that property saying, before you can sell this, you have to pay me. Restrictions are things like the size of the house, the building materials that can go on there. If you can have a detached garage, what that has to look like. Some places have restrictions on the type of landscaping you can do. So then you have to know the difference between zoning and codes. If you turn over to your second page, zoning tells the builder what type of a building can be built on a site. So is it a gas station? Is it a church? Is it a multi-story building? Is it an office complex? Is it a single family residence? Is it an apartment complex? So that's what zoning is. It tells you what you can build on that property. Codes tell you how to build whatever it is you're building. So for example, zoning is a single family residence or an apartment building. Codes would be things like coded on your plumbing and electrical. Topographical features. We've talked about that. Those are the topographical features that we talked about. Be able to explain what those are: slope, contour, size, and shape. And then we get into your family needs and be able to, at the very bottom of the page, be able to identify at least 5 of those for the test. So that's a topographical map. You can see in the upper right corner, it's pretty steep and it's kind of flat over here. So you have to worry about the shape of your property. All of those are 15,000 square feet, but they all could have different types of houses because of the shapes of the property. So family needs, you've got to be able to identify at least 5 of those. And that's kind of where we left off yesterday. So I'll stop this and post that and then start today's once the students come in.